opens with his own decks, and they're always fantastic.
Yeah, and they're always super cool, super original. Jeff Hoogland sleeving up the full set of Desecrations and Blood Gift Demons. 8 of those. 4th Rag Tusk. So many Planeswalkers. He has 8 Planeswalkers. He has Liliana the Veils, Vraska of the Unseens, and Garruk Primal Hunters.
What I like is his late game card, his own Sphinx's Revelation. He's playing a Staff of Nin in his deck.
Ping ya. Staff of Nin, just like a Honden of the Seeing Winds that has not been picked up yet. And really, I mean, it seems kind of decent in this metagame when now that I think about it, in this bruiser-heavy, slow mid-range metagame, Staff of Nin is probably going to draw a lot of cards in any game it comes down.
Yeah, Jeff Hoogland's going down to 6 cards. The staff's okay. I think one of the biggest issues with it is that the 1 damage is completely irrelevant. So you really are just playing a 6-mana, blue Honden, which, in his deck, I'm questioning whether or not that's better than a card like Underworld Connections.
Yeah, that's true too. Underworld Connections is pretty much the same effect, but half the price. Now, I really like Jeff Hoogland's removal suite. He's playing a lot of versatile answers, but he's not maxing out on the ones that aren't actually that versatile. Like he has 2 Abrupt Decay, he has 2 Tribute to Hunger, 2 Sever the Bloodline, 3 Ultimate Price. Now, he still has this 9 removal spell package, but a lot of them are good at different times. I like Sever the Bloodline, but I don't like 4. I like Abrupt Decay, but I don't like 4.
Right, so he has 2 of each. I think what Jeff's going to have to make sure is the problem here is that they're both playing these mid-range D-decks. Kevin's probably better positioned to go bigger. So Jeff is going to be forced into being the more aggressive of these 2 decks, which his 12 creature deck is going to be a little harder pressed to do. Like I said, we do have a big Planeswalker fight that could happen. Jeff Hoogland, I think Garruk Primal Hunter will be very important for him in this matchup. So both players, this is going to be a big, like I said, this is definitely a trade binder matchup on both sides. Both players really just breaking out all the different mythic rares that they've opened over the last month, sleeving them into decks, and smashing them into each other.
Jeff Hoogland on the draw on 6 cards. He'll have the first play, though, in a Farseek.
Yeah, nothing better like a Farseek to help you cast all those really sweet mythics that are in your deck.
Oh, yeah.
And Kevin will think twice. So both players, just kind of, well, there aren't any sweet cards that cost 2, so, they're just going to develop for a while until they start smashing into each other.
It's a shame that you even have to play cards that cost 2 and 3. Why can't we just all play 5 drops?
Right. You have to make sure you have plenty of lands and, plenty of sweet things.
Like 30 land, 35 drops. Could be an all right deck.
So Jeff is going to start out with Desecration Demon. And remember, because Kevin really doesn't have very many ways to make small creatures, this guy's pretty much just a 6/6 flying trample. Yeah. Trample, right? No, just flying. Just flying for 6. He's no Abyssal Persecutor.
Desecration Demon's ability, if you haven't faced this guy in Limited yet, at the beginning of each combat, your opponent can sack a creature. If they do, it's tapped and gets +1/+1 counter. Yep, right. There it is.
Right, so it's just going to get Oblivion Ringed by Kevin Ragsdale. Which is probably, Hoogland's got to be okay with that. He does not have a 5th land, though. Yeah, the old stuck on 4. Which actually, in this sort of matchup, is pretty devastating. Especially if he's got to hope that Kevin doesn't play like a Tamiyo. Nope, it'll just be Thrag Tusk. So, you may notice in these matchups, the life totals will be heading in the wrong direction for a lot of the way, too. Kevin jumps up to 25. Kevin has so many cards that are good at gaining life. He has Healers, Thrag Tusks, Restoration Angels for the Thrag Tusks. He has Sphinx's Revelation. Really, he's able to keep himself in a healthy life total.
Yeah, and all Jeff Hoogland can do is add another land to the board in terms of Farseek and take the beats to the face.
Right. And Jace, Architect of Thought, comes down for Kevin Ragsdale.
Wow, Jeff Hoogland really on the back foot here.
Yeah, not hitting his 5th land is pretty influential here. And it'll be land, Syncopate. Kevin may just take the lands here. Yeah, he will. Syncopate doesn't matter nearly as much as continuing to curve higher and higher.
Right.
And Sunpillar Grove into play. Possible Syncopate mana up. Hoogland doesn't really have the luxury of playing around it, though.
No, he'll
go for Garruk Primal Hunter, and it's going to resolve. Jeff gets a beast into play. Primal Hunter very strong in this matchup.
Yeah, Jeff definitely back in this game now after resolving that Primal Hunter. Kevin, not actually that many ways to deal with permanents once they're in play. He has
No.
a decent amount of counters, but
He has the 1 O-ring and 1 detention sphere, and that's really it.
yeah, Tamiyo anytime will be so good for Kevin Ragsdale. He would love to draw that.
You just gotta hope that Kevin doesn't have a Tamiyo right here, which, I mean, I don't really think he does. It'd certainly be slammed if he had one.
There is that one of detention
One of
sphere,
detention
though.
sphere. Yep, and he correctly gets the beast token, so then Thragtusk is going to take down Grunk.
Yep, Jace will +1, remain on the battlefield.
Hoogland going to need more threats, and his hand is just full of cards. 6th land, Cavern of Souls, almost certainly naming Demon.
Yep, he might have to force through his Thragtusk, but he's still at 15, so the most likely one is Demon.
Yeah, and the Cavern is set on Demon. Yeah. And he will, it's funny, he puts Cavern on Demon and then casts Thragtusk.
Yeah, slams the Cavern into play.
The biggest thing is he has 4 Blood Gift Demon, and that's a card which I think will be pretty relevant to this matchup. And there we go, the ubiquitous, sorry, one of the plays in Standard that's the Restoration Angel on Thragtusk. So strong here. Kevin will go up to 30, get a 3/3.
That's not too bad for 4 mana.
No, that play is really one of the defining plays of Standard here. It's able to close the door against so many decks.
It's almost like a Courser's Accord.
If it had flying and flash
And cost
gain
less.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah, Restoration Angel, as you see on your left there. Had seen a lot of play previously in Delver, now it's from new favorite partner is Thragtusk.
Yep, the Tusks trade, and Jeff Hoogland gets a 3/3. Kevin Ragsdale also gets another 3/3.
And Jace will select more cards. We see
Wow.
Cyclonic Rift, Think Twice, and Celestia Guildgate.
Yeah, and Cyclonic Rift will surely go into Kevin Ragsdale's hand. Pretty much going to
It's
put
possible.
the
The
game
thing
away.
is that the other one's 3 cards. Yeah, he's still going to take the Rift. Let's say 1 of Cyclonic Rift as well.
That's a card that's been slowly catching on in Standard now. Wow, I've been really impressed with that card when I've seen it played.
Yeah, I mean, when you're trying to go big, this is a card that's very good at it. An end of turn Cyclonic Rift. Typically, certainly wins games of Limited and can win games of Constructed too. Staff of Nin comes out for Jeff Hoogland and pings that final point off the Jace. Ragsdale has got him. Didn't see that one coming.
No, can't really play around the Staff of Nin.
Probably inspiration for 5 here at the end. Yeah, so Staff of Nin, Hoogland's hand. Remember, it's not like Hoogland's been lacking for cards. It's really, that type 4 thing where he's kind of choked up on only being able to play 1 spell a turn. He's very far behind on the board. The question is what sweepers he might have, and he has Sever the Bloodline. 2 Severs is really his best sweeper, and I'm using the term sweeper pretty loosely here. The problem is that were he to cast Sever and hit his own beast token.
Right.
He has that 2 beasts will trade, Hoogland will drop to 7.
Yep, he has to keep out of Cyclonic Rift range. He has to make sure his life total does not go below Kevin Ragsdale's creature power, which is 6 right now.
And we'll see Centaur Healer down for Ragsdale, jumping up to 33.
Just a casual 33 life, that's all.
On the same board, it's these Bant Mirrors that really can just be miserable. Did Hoogland hit? I think looks like he drew his 2nd card, but still did not find the land. So he's going to have to make do without land. He has 8 cards here. He has a Liliana that can act as a kill spell. He's really just got to make sure he's not dead.
Up here, there's the Liliana.
Edict away the beast.
And now Jeff Hoogland needs another
He's
kill
going to have to
spell.
pass the turn. Yeah, his only other 3-drop was another Liliana. Restoration Angel comes into play, and before it comes down, he's going to tribute Ragsdale, which if Ragsdale sacks that, then he sacks Centaur Healer, and Angel cannot blink Angel, so...
So Angel's Blink does nothing. Kevin Ragsdale stays at 33. Not get to go up to 36. Jeff Hoogland up to 11. But will soon be down to 5.
Right, so he's got to be careful because we know that Cyclonic Rift is in Ragsdale's hand.
Yeah, if I'm Ragsdale, I just ignore that Liliana and just attack Jeff's face.
Yeah, especially because Jeff does have another Liliana in hand. You don't want to activate that.
Right.
Power Fountain play tapped, and we'll see Thragd.
Wow.
Kevin jumps up to 38 life.
38 life points. Jeff Hoogland has not entered the red zone yet. He's about to do his first point of damage, though, with the Staff of Ningpin. Nope. Guess not.
Yeah, I can't. He's drawing the extra card. He didn't shoot Ragsdale's face with the staff there on end step. Oh, he did. Okay, so 37. Probably not affecting the game too much one way or the other.
No, probably not.
The problem is with this Angel Thragtusk interaction. It's just so hard to deal with. It's very hard when playing another deck, which is curving out with rares, to compete on efficiency with Thragtusk or Angel. The big problem is, like I said, these players are limited to one spell per turn, and the amount of advantage gained by that interaction is probably just better than anything else that Hoogland can be doing.
More than one spell.
Right.
Certainly, 4 mana. And that's game 1 to Kevin Ragsdale.
Right.
You see their final life totals 37 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
They added up to more than 40 between them.
Fair enough. So yeah, this is one of those matchups. It's a haymaker matchup. So out of the board, we'll probably see both players just continue to get bigger. So what does that mean for each of them? Well, let's look at Kevin Ragsdale's deck. He has another Detention Sphere, which is probably a very good card in this matchup. Outside of that, he has another Oblivion Ring as well. I'm not sure anything else is particularly strong here. He does have 2 negates, which I would not be surprised to see him board in. He may think that Jeff Hoogland has more creatures than he actually does right now. Hoogland only has 12 creatures.
Right, the non-spells that Hoogland played, he played 1 Tribute, he played Farseeks, he played a Staff of Nin, and a couple Planeswalkers, so I'm guessing Kevin's going to side in the negates here. They seem pretty good.
Right. So the question is, if he puts Jeff on not having very many creatures, that is probably the sideboard. So then on Jeff's side, what we have is, well, what can he do to get bigger here? He has Pithing Needles to deal with the Planeswalkers. It's probably good enough, possibly not. I think you probably do make that play.
I think so too. I mean, if he had small creatures to attack the Planeswalkers with, that would be one thing, but he doesn't. You can't exactly Desecration Demon Tamiyo to death. That's not going to work for quite a few different reasons.
Right, so he also has a second Staff of Nin and a pair of Bloodline Keepers. Between that and Sever the Bloodline, he may try to run them. Sever Bloodline's a little dangerous because of the presence of Restoration Angel.
It is. When you tap 4 on your turn and they respond by tapping 4, you both trade a card, but your opponent gets 6 more power and 5 more life out of the bargain. That's not good. So I think we'll still see him bring them in, though. I think we'll see the full set of Severs after board. Maybe 2 Mutilates if he really wants to morph into kind of a controlling role, but I don't think that that's going to happen. That just doesn't seem like what Jeff wants to be doing here.
Right, that's not something, I really don't like that play, especially because he has in his deck 12 non-swamp lands. Mutilate seems actually pretty ambitious in most matchups. In this matchup in particular, though, I'd imagine that, you can't expect Mutilate. Maybe by turn 6 it'll be doing 3. And 3 is really the magic number here against Ragsdale. I can't see myself really liking Mutilate, because I don't think I'd ever actually kill a Restoration Angel.
No, probably not.
Though to be fair, a sweeper was what he really needed in that last matchup. So I kind of like the idea of siding in a Mutilate. My biggest issue isn't actually with siding in, it's more of the role that Mutilate has in Hoogland's deck. I'm just not positive the X is big enough on a consistent basis.
Yeah, it's just really unfortunate that that he has to play so many non-swamps. He has 2 caverns, 4 woodland cemetery, 6 forest. And this is assuming that Evolving Wilds always gets swamped too.
Right, which, were that the case, he'd be playing swamp, so clearly sometimes he can't actually do that.
Right. Yeah, now if it was Damnation, I would say main deck it, and that it would be a great card, but this deck just might rely a little too heavily on the green.
One of the things that I really find interesting going back to Kevin Ragsdale's deck is how he's built his mana base. You know what? Yeah, the fact that he has 3 Celestia Guildgates in it, coming into play tap lands, he's really is fine doing that. We're going to actually, while they're starting their match, going to take a quick break. We're going to need to reset our stream. We'll be back in less than a minute, though. So stay tuned. We'll bring you game 2 of this match.